expansion network, accelerating the consciousness of humanity. And one Saturday again, a little bit late today, but it's still here with Judy Machado, reality check on the planet, living without fear. As you know, I am here in Texas, Dallas, Texas. I'm known in the business world, here in the US as the CEO confidant, and in Latin America, I'm known as the founder, the co-founder, and the president of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation. We help underprivileged kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs using the local resources. And here every single Saturday, we're with amazing Judy Machado to go over so many things, basically how to live the world without fear. How has the week been in the world, in Canada, in the US, and many other places that we have been interacting with. So welcome back. A pleasure to be co-hosting this show with you, Judy.
Oh, such a pleasure. Thank you, Angel. I just love Saturday mornings because I get to be here with you. We get to connect for a full half an hour, and we get to have all these other beautiful souls join us and be part of this energy and this conversation. I'm so excited. Thank you. And I love, love, love the fact that we always talk about, yes, overcoming fear. You know, there's so much conditioning in the world, and how can we do our part to just continue to see love? Because there is really love all around us. Fear is the illusion. And so I love having these little conversations with you every Saturday morning, and I'm excited about today's conversation too. Welcome, everyone.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's start. How has the week been? Tell me, how has your week been going?
Yes. Well, there's a couple things. I want to talk about what's happening literally in front of me in a minute, because there's a big, beautiful Italian church right outside my house. I live in Little Italy in Toronto, and there's a big funeral happening. So I'm going to circle around to that in a minute, because I find it very interesting that it's happening in this moment. What a beautiful opportunity to talk about that. But before that, Toronto, so Ontario, here, everything opened up Friday at literally at 12 a.m. Everything opened up here. So the restaurants, well, not everything. It was kind of stage one. So we have patios open. No dining indoors, but patios are open. Shopping, if it's curbside, 15%. So everyone, there's a little bit coming back to sort of what used to be the normal. And everybody seems to be very excited here. And, you know, yesterday was the big soccer game, right? Italy versus Turkey. And because I live in Little Italy, Little Portugal, it's usually madness here. And of course, yesterday, the patio's open. Everybody's watching the game. Everyone's wearing blue because of all the Italians that are, you know, here.
Sorry to interrupt you. So,
yeah.
Just a second. I'm going to leave you here by yourself just for a second, okay?
Yeah. Okay, sure. So it was so crazy to see this difference, having gone since November, I guess, was the lockdown here. And all of a sudden, yesterday, to walk out on the street, I went for a walk on College, and patios were packed, lineups, every patio with a big TV. So people were watching the game, and especially being here in Little Italy, as I mentioned, lots of fun, people excited to be together and watching the soccer game together. So again, what an example of just being, you know, when you lose something, when something is taken from you, and then when you get it back again, you know, hopefully that instills in us an incredible sense of gratitude and appreciation for what we have. Not that what we had was terrible in terms of lockdown. You know, if we think about, well, we had an opportunity to be home, to catch up on things that maybe we never had a chance to. We had all this time and space. So really seeing things from a place of, how is whatever's happening in this very moment serving me? And when we look at things that way, you know, how is this serving me versus, oh my God, look what's been taken from me. We can always see the abundance in everything, right? There really is an incredible abundance in everything. And so I'm grateful. I went out to eat on a patio last night, and it was so beautiful. And I'm just so grateful to experience this and to see everybody finally, you know, out in groups, and many people not wearing masks out in public, which was beautiful to see, right? It's just so beautiful. Again, some people really choose to wear the mask outside, and others choose not to. And again, I think that we're all on this journey of realizing that everyone is just doing the best they can at wherever they are, whatever place they're at in their life. And what a beautiful way to just see that and honor that and respect that with everybody, even though maybe whichever way you're, whether you wear the mask or not, or whatever you're doing that people aren't doing. How can we at least respect that other people are just living in a different reality? They're literally seeing the world from a different place, different information that they have. At the end of the day, everybody is really coming from a place of deep down love, because that's what we are, right? We are love. We all come from love. And many of us are just in fear, living in fear, which is the title of this beautiful podcast that we do every Saturday morning. So many people are just living in fear because they are being conditioned by fear. If you turn on the news, that's all they talk about is fear, 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 cases, deaths. No one ever talks about vitamins. No one ever talks about our miraculous body created by, part of infinite space that can heal itself based on what we're thinking about, right? If we're thinking about fear, then our body starts to break down and we start to create dis-ease. And so all these beautiful things are just beautiful, spiritual, deep truths and understandings that we have realized, especially when we are able to go into the space, right? Go into the space in our hearts, the silence. I'm purposefully not saying anything right now. Just take a minute and feel the richness in the silence. If we are all one and we are infinite, it's in that space of silence where we come from, that infinite, big bang, cosmic place. And when we're speaking and observing outside of us, that's just the effect, right? And so how beautiful it is when we're able to go within. And so I want to circle back now to this funeral. So I can see right outside my window this beautiful church that's out there, this magnificent Italian church that was just renovated, restored, and there are tons of people outside. Obviously, they're not allowing enough people inside. They had a big procession with the cars, with the police. And so obviously, and I've heard that it was a beautiful Italian man, a pillar of the community here, who passed away. And I want to talk for a minute about why what's the word I want to use? Why I find it so rewarding to attend or observe a funeral. Because it's in those moments where we are so connected to the sacredness of life, aren't we? We are so conscious of the time that we have here when we are at a funeral. And we're so connected, we're so conscious. And then the funeral's over and then we move on and life goes on and we're busy, and we become unconscious again. But it's in the moment of these funerals that we can really sit and say, wow, this person is gone in the physical anyway. And we become really connected to the fact that that's going to happen to us. Of course it's going to happen. This is the reality of life. We're born and we transition. And then we're born and transition and born and transition. And it's this journey of really coming to a place where we don't have to be afraid of that too. And again, this is something that just doesn't happen overnight, but part of it has to do with going within, listening to the space, remembering who we are, activating these rememberings within us, who we really are, how powerful we are. And this is just a moment in time that we are here on earth. So much more happens after. And then again, when we can spend time connected to that, and not connected to what the news is telling us. Anything that is fear driven is coming from a place of such low consciousness, which is okay. We're all going through different levels of consciousness. But when we want to awaken, when we want to have a more fulfilled life, when we want to start serve and contribute, that's when we have an opportunity to observe and realize this is fear. This is fear. I choose not to listen to this. it can really be such a simple decision, such a simple decision. So I wanted to bring that up about funerals because, again, it's happening right in front of me. I can see it right now out the window, and everything happens for a reason. I believe that that was part of us sharing this incredible story, because I know that every single person here has been to a funeral, has observed, walked by a funeral, even just because there's so many funerals that happen here on this Italian church. It's just constant. There's funerals. When I go for my walks, just stopping with them. I notice something's happening, that the procession's starting or something's starting. Instead of continuing to walk by, just stopping to pay my respects, to bring myself into a place of like shaking myself into consciousness. Yes, look, Judy, look at this, right? It's just so beautiful to observe and to be in that moment with everyone and see if we can extend that moment into our lives.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And actually, to your point, it's funny because just a few days I was in a conversation about death, right? And how to, what death is, if we have already made peace with death or not, what do we believe about death? And I always tell you, so everybody knows, I'm going to make it public today. Okay, so just in case. So whenever I die, it's going to happen when I am 125 years old. That's my plan. Okay, so whenever that happens, I want it to be the most fun, upbeat, full of music, full of games, full of songs, full of dances, celebration in the world, to be honest. Because, I have to confess that I had a completely different idea and concept of death, until I had a show and we interviewed probably like 10 or 15 different people that had near-death experiences. If you ever spoken to someone that has had a near-death experience, I strongly recommend you to do that. There's actually an organization, a worldwide organization that, gathers or brings all these people that have these kind of experiences together. You will realize there's always a common denominator, right? And some people, when they explain the story, they say, I want to go back. Obviously, they all go back because they tell me the story afterwards, right? But some say, no, I want to stay because it was amazing, right? Something that they all have in common is that they all change their physical, earthly lives after that experience, after realizing who we really are, and after realizing that death is just a transition to who we really are. Some people are very daring and they say, hey, we live in an hologram, that this is a hologram. I don't know. I'm not that smart to say that. I don't have evidence, right? But a lot of people say that we live in a hologram and this is a hologram and many other things. But other people call it the matrix, right? I don't know where we live exactly, but I'm sure that we are we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and we come here to learn stuff and to become better and better and better. And also related to that, something that I really like to use all the time when I coach my clients, which is our mind. I would say our mind is what drives our lives, right? And you were just talking about TV and fear and news and all these kind of things. Imagine for a second that we willingly decide that we have no memory. We don't want to have memory. So we forget everything that has happened before this very second. Can you imagine how happy we would be?
Yes.
Can you imagine, obviously we've had good memories, but unfortunately we remember more, those limiting beliefs that we have that are ingrained, embedded in our subconscious, right? If we just forgot all of them and we just focused on the present, bless you, and just building and having joy, having fun, and having a good experience of what's happening right now, just 99% 0.999, if not 100% of the problems we have would disappear, right?
Mm.
So it was, I mean, right to the point. And just to report what's going on in Texas,
Yes.
you know, we're really blessed. I mean, right now it's very rare to see almost anybody with masks. Most of the stores, you know, allow everybody to go inside without, and you definitely see that. I mean, there's Texas, I would say Texas is one of the places in the world where there's more kind of freedom. There's many other countries, but as we have already talked about with Judy many times, but
Yes.
yeah, so yeah, amazing conversation. Yeah, I mean, tap into what is inside of you and just think that, you know, the present is everything that counts, and
Yeah.
your life will be much better.
And you know what? I love that you just said that, because part of what I wanted to do today as we do our little cacao blessing, I want to read something actually, which has to do with what you just talked about, presence. Because when I look back at what's really helped me in my journey of seeing things outside of me, and really, yes, we all have moments of fear, but very quickly being reminded that everything's happening for a purpose and it's all serving all of us. So there's really nothing to fear. And part of that was in, you know, I used to be this person who'd be like, moving around really fast, you know, lots of coffee, just always busy, lots of success, lots of, you know, money, lots of stuff going on. But never, ever meditated, never, you know, didn't like to go eat out alone, did not like to ever be alone. And I know that that's a lot of people out there. We go through this transition because we're so used to and conditioned to what's outside of us.
Excuse me, I'm gonna leave you by yourself again, okay? Thank you.
No problem. And then what happens is when we start to actually enjoy those glimpses of within, those moments of silence, it's so beautiful and so powerful. And I want to share with you something today. And it's from this book. It's one of my favorite books, Power versus Force, which is by David Hawkins. If you could see that, David Hawkins. An incredible book about consciousness. When I actually understood what consciousness is, you know, society teaches us that you're either conscious or you're unconscious, period. Unconscious, you're in a coma. No one can hear you. You can't hear anybody. Conscious, you're awake, period. That's it. One level of consciousness. This book and many others, David Hawkins, incredible man, teaches us about the levels of consciousness within humanity. Within this earth. Why are we here? We're here to experience these different levels of consciousness that literally are linear. And so what are these levels of consciousness? And when I was able to understand that, everything shifted for me, because I was able to, first of all, understand and be so humble, remind myself as I go around, you know, preaching, we should do this, we shouldn't do that, that, you know what do I really know? I'm at like this level of consciousness, and there are all these levels of consciousness above me. And what happens is when you're at different levels of consciousness, you see more. So right now we're in these different levels of consciousness, this level, then this level, and this level, and this level, and this level. We start to see a little bit more. But as we get into higher levels of consciousness, we see more of what really is happening in this earth, who we really are, what we really are here to do together. And therefore, as I share these beliefs, and again, Cacao has supported me in doing this, as I share my beliefs, because I have beliefs in my current level of consciousness, we all have beliefs based on our current level of consciousness. And as I share some belief, I always now, because I've received this message from Cacao, I always now state and acknowledge, this is my current belief, but I am open to a new belief, a new empowering belief based on information coming to me from a higher level of consciousness, not from a lower level. So I'm now inviting, because we have free will. So when we ask, we receive. So I'm inviting to have this higher information come to me quickly so that I can start, you know, whatever my belief is, see even more and go, oh my God, actually, I'm going to upgrade that belief because now I see even more of what the reality is. I just love that. And so let me read to you really quickly section in this book. I mean, this entire book, for the most part, has been highlighted. I just love highlighting my books because I love to go back to them. And I want to read to you this section, and then we are going to enjoy a cacao blessing together. Just a few minutes. And after drinking the cacao, whether you have cacao or not, it's okay. You can still join. But afterwards, we're going to enjoy a beautiful connection, an eye-gazing connection that literally moves mountains. Okay, so here we go. We live in a world marked by physical, mental, and emotional suffering. What can we learn about our untapped inner resources? What exactly is the effect of a person or a group that radiates love, acceptance, and compassion? Is it really possible that our own consciousness holds the power to uplift not only ourselves, but also the world? This book says yes. By showing us the way to liberation, Dr. Hawkins, again, the author of this book, gives us the chance of reaching liberation by contextualizing high spiritual truth into a framework that speaks to our linear, logical minds. He dissolves one of the greatest barriers of the expansion of consciousness. Are you ready for that barrier? Intellectual doubt. Using this little thing right here, right? So as any parent knows, it takes great love to explain adult realities to the child in a way that the child can understand. This has always been the difficulty of the sage. How to communicate the nonlinear realities that lie beyond the reach of the mind in a way that the mind can understand. Dr. Hawkins demystifies the spiritual life by speaking to the idiom of our time, science. Yet with every word and every reverent gesture, he preserves the utter mystery of the absolute. Absolute with a capital. He speaks as an ordinary person to his fellows about ordinary human life. He affirms the beauty of everyday life and the sacredness of each interaction. The sacredness of each interaction. It's one of the things that cacao has helped me. First, I was like, oh my God, sacredness of this cacao. I'm going to bring so much sacredness to this cacao. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And then started seeing myself in the cacao. And all of a sudden, the mirror of the cacao is me, the sacredness for myself. And then the sacredness of every moment. You know, every moment becomes a sacred place. And, you know, Angel, you and I, before we got on here, we're talking about, creating a sacred space, your office or whatever it is, and realizing that it starts with a room. And then we realize, okay, another room. Because at first we're like, well, we need a sacred space to do our ceremonies. And we create that sacred space in the house. And then we realize, oh my God, now what about my kitchen? How can I make my kitchen sacred? How can I make my living? Everything becomes sacred. And so what I'd love to do right now, I'd love for us, for those of you who have cacao, and I want to invite you every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, we come together and we drink cacao together. Just a short blessing. I invite you to bring your cacao, and if not, maybe you have tea or water even, and we're going to drink this sacred plant medicine. We're going to invite this medicine to bring us, expand our consciousness. We're going to sit in silence for a few moments as we drink this. I know that's going to be awkward for many of us because we're not used to the pause when we're people in the room. We're not used to not speaking, but that's where the magic happens. And so we're going to sit for a few minutes, maybe 3 minutes, and then we're going to do something pretty amazing. We're actually, if we have time, Angel, do we have a little bit of time?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, perfect. If we have time, we're going to take 3 minutes. After our 3 minutes of drinking in silence, I'm going to guide us to just connect right now. We're just going to connect through the eyes, and we're going to see each other in each other's eyes. If you're listening and you're here right now, whether you're live or not, I invite you to be with us for those 3 minutes, to just be present. Look, whether it's in my eyes, Angel's eyes, we're all going to be looking right at the camera and see and experience the beauty in saying nothing, just looking deep into someone's eyes. And that's what we're going to do. So I invite you now to drink some cacao. Namaste, Satnam. Here we go. Mm. And so now I'm going to put my cup down and I'm just going to get really close. I invite you to get close. And we're just going to look right into the camera. And I invite you now to look deep into my eyes, into Angel's eyes. And with your heart, if you wish to say something, say it with your heart and not with your mouth. Let's see what messages you might receive, or the compassion or the love that you're going to feel beyond anything you've ever felt before. So, 3 minutes. Let's start now. What does it feel like to have someone look so deeply into your eyes? And what does it feel like for you to do that in return? And how possible is it that we are this present and can look this deeply into everyone's eyes, everyone we're speaking to? Can we actually be conscious as someone is speaking to us and look deep into their eyes like we are doing right now with each other? Can you see beyond that person, the physical? Can you see into the love, the pure, delicious love that person is? Thank you for sharing that moment with me and with Angel. So beautiful. And I want to invite you to consider doing that more often with people in your life, people at home, When you're on a Zoom call with somebody, just literally come in close and be this present. Look right into their eyes. Because that brings a whole other presence and connection that words cannot even describe. A soul connection is created. And the more we can do that with each other, the more literally, remember the butterfly, the fluttering of the butterfly can be felt on the other side of the world. That's the type of energy that we create. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Judy. Sorry, we are a little bit in a rush today. And anyway.
Oh my God.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being with us today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you. Thank you, Judy, again. Reality checking the planet, living without fear. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you for being with us today.
Bye, everyone.